Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for checking out the channel. Tobin here with you. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day out there. I appreciate you guys checking out the channel. If you could, subscribe here and subscribe to the WQAM YouTube page. Tobin and Leroy, weekdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I got our Dolphins pregame action. We do every single game day uncensored, 4 hours before kickoff. So this week for Dolphins and Panthers, myself, Omar Kelly, and Alejandro Solana will get you going at 9 a.m. as the Dolphins look to run their record to 5-1. But some unfortunate news hitting the Dolphins world today as DeVon Achane appears like he's going to be out for some amount of time. Now, I'm recording this on Tuesday night. Mike McDaniel, I think, addresses the media. I'm not exactly, I think it's like 11, 12, something like that. He'll address in the middle of the day. I don't know what details he'll give us. He is a little bit squirrely when it comes to injuries, doesn't like to put caps on anybody. And in general, I think the Dolphins very overly cautious with injuries. Not saying that Achane wouldn't have some time out, but that's just been the way they've gone. They've gone that way with Jalen Phillips this year. Connor Williams, there was a game that he probably thought that he could play that they missed. They really try and play the long game, especially early on in the season with this stuff. But yeah, this is, I would say is as devastating a blow as the Dolphins have had from an injury standpoint, because I would say this has been your most productive player getting hurt. Because if you think about it, the Dolphins have done a fantastic job with injury replacement so far this season. I would say week 4 against the Bills notwithstanding, but they've done okay without Jalen Ramsey. They've dealt with it. They've been okay, whether it have Eli Apple out there or Kader Kohu or whomever they're putting out there to replace that cornerback spot. They've done okay. Not perfect. Obviously, the defense has had its issues, but they've managed it. Teron Armstead, who's been out more than he's played, Kendall Lamb's done a sensational job. He has. He's done a marvelous job. Probably the injury they felt the most so far this season was the game Connor Williams was out because Liam Eichenberg had to play, and part of that was probably Liam's, follies, and part of that was Bill's got a really good front four. And then with Jalen Phillips, they've done a good job. I mean, they didn't have Jalen Waddle for a game either, but Jalen Phillips, Andrew Von Ginkel has been amazing. Jalen Waddle was out of game. They put up 70 points. But this guy in DeVon Achane has been absolutely incredible. I mean, I didn't think it was possible to have anybody on a team with Tyreek Hill to be more entertaining than Tyreek Hill, and I don't know if he's taken that crown just yet, but he's making me think about it, because not only is he flirting with the idea of taking Tyreek Hill's speed records and crown and title as fastest Miami Dolphin, but it's just like, with Tyreek Hill, you just never know when that play is going to come, and he is going to do something absolutely electric that just changes the game. And defenses can try to game plan for it. They can try and go out there and scheme around it and try and put brackets on him and try and do things to slow Tyreek Hill up. But it's pretty, it's pretty rare that you're going to hold him down. Normally, he's going to go out there and he's going to have an explosive play. But DeVon Achane has been, arguably even more explosive than Tyreek has been. I mean, first of all, he's only really played 3 games so far this year. He was inactive week 1 because he was banged up. Week 2, he had 1 carry. So basically, he's second in the league in rushing with 3 weeks of work. And in those games where he's rushed for 151 yards, he did last week, he had a 76-yard run. In the Bills game where he had 8 carries, 101 yards. He had a 55-yard run. And then, of course, in Denver, he had 203 yards rushing and 67 yards rushing. Had a 67-yard rush in that game. So, just incredible everything that he's done. And for good measure, Tyreek, had the 69-yard touchdown last week. He has a 54-yarder and a 47-yarder. So Tyreek's had his explosive plays too. Don't get me wrong. The Cheetah is still the Cheetah, and he's leading the league in receiving yards, and Tua is leading the league in passing. Look, there's a lot of explosive stuff around this team, but this is the most productive guy that you're losing. Now, you're still, I think, in an okay position. Raheem Mostert was your planned on starting running back. Jeff Wilson was probably your probably your number 2 coming into the season. It sounds like they're close to getting Jeff Wilson back, so that's really good news. It sounds like he's on the mend. He's going to come off IR. But Jeff Wilson is a behemoth and can run hard and definitely brings an attitude with the way that he runs, but it's hard to have the explosion that DeVon Achane is having. And it's crazy to say that with a team that has Raheem Mostert, who's also one of the fastest people in the league. There's just so much speed all around here and on this team and what they do that it's just so marvelous to watch every single week with what they're doing. DeVon Achane did post on social media tonight. He said, "Only the strong survive. I'll be back better than ever." And you got a comment from Jalen Waddle. Just says, "The one." That's Goosey's right there, dude. Oh, I like that a lot. So I can't wait to see him back on the field. I do hope that it's a full recovery. It's a hopefully not too long a recovery, because I don't really want to speculate. I don't know. There was reports earlier in the day that was saying, oh, it's looking like IR. It's looking like he's going to maybe go 4 weeks, and then the Dolphins at the bye might as well just run it out to 6 weeks. Then there are others who are saying, maybe not going to be that long. It's just basically week to week. Let's see how it heals. Let's see how it goes. Again, I think we'll get more details when Mike McDaniel speaks on Wednesday as far as, will this be super long term? Is this going to be something that he can come back from by the Eagles game by any chance? Who knows? I mean, that's the kind of the trouble of all of it, because people were doing this on Monday. People were getting mad because people were like, what do you people know? You're not Twitter doctors. You don't know. And Mike McDaniel, people were like, I think he sounded positive. And I didn't feel that way. I listened to every Mike McDaniel press conference basically since he's been coach. And I could tell you, when I was listening to that, I was driving to the Heat scrimmage, and I had it on in my car. I put it through the aux, and I was like, he's kind of dancing around that Achane stuff really carefully. And it kind of felt to me when I heard that, I was like, he sounds as concerned as I've heard him about certain things. He didn't want to, I think, show his hand of concern, but I was like, he doesn't sound like, it's nothing. I've heard Mike McDaniel basically say, we're going to protect. Usually here's what Mike McDaniel does. If a guy will be out a little bit, but it's not that big a deal, we got to protect the player from himself. We have to he'll do a big one of those. This felt like it was very clouded in mystery when he was explaining it. And so to me, it kind of piqued my attention, and I was like, I don't know. And so to get the news in the morning that DeVon Achane may have a more significant injury than first let on is for sure concerning, because he's been amazing. This Dolphins team, look, I'm sure they can handle the Panthers without him. I'm sorry if I'm going to do the thing that the coaches hate, which is overlook the Panthers, but I just saw them give up 42 to the Lions. Who's to say that the Dolphins can't go in there and even top that and maybe be serving burgers again and get to a 50 spot, But I think they can handle it. It's the Eagles and the Chiefs of the world that you have coming on up. yeah, you definitely want to be at full strength, have your full arsenal, have your full weapons, but they also hopefully will be in a spot where they're at 5-1 going into Sunday Night Football. Possibly, let's just say at worst, they lose Sunday Night Football. They're 5-2. Come back, you're taking on McCorkle. Patriots have looked like a joke. So you're 6-2. You could get yourself to going into the Germany game against Kansas City. So the Dolphins are in a spot where they can manage this, and definitely, especially with the Bills losing last week, they can put themselves in a position to definitely take their time with DeVon. But man, I really like seeing him play football. I hope it's not too long because he is incredibly fun. I love watching him play.